How do you train ChatGPT to write like you? If that's something you've been wondering, whether you've been using ChatGPT for a long time, you're using the Plus version now, the team version, or the Pro version, it's understandable that you want it to write more like you. That means there's less for you to do, less editing to do, and getting it to write like you doesn't have to be hard. If you've ever asked ChatGPT to write something like you, but the response just feels off, like the words are there, but it doesn't quite sound like you or feel like you. If it's too robotic, too generic, too flowery, or just missing your personality altogether. If you've been wondering how to make ChatGPT write exactly like you, here's a secret. Just if you were working with a human team member, it has to be taught. You have to give it feedback. And I know you might be thinking,
Hey, Brittany, that sounds like it's going to take a long time. I'm here because I don't want things to take a long time. I'm here because I want AI to do it for me.
and trust me, we will get there. But first, we need to do a little bit of training. Just like if you brought a human team member in, you would expect to give them a little bit of training, a little bit of information. That's exactly what we're going to do to make ChatGPT sound like you. Now, we're talking about ChatGPT mostly, but this will also apply to Claude. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brittany Long. I'm a former award-winning educator, copywriter, and AI trainer. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to get ChatGPT to sound like you without spending hours and hours training it, how to create a knowledge base so ChatGPT has context and you don't feel like you're saying the same things over and over again, how to give it feedback so it improves over time, and how to fix it when it starts going off track. Now, this video isn't about getting a kind of match with AI. It's about getting ChatGPT to write so much like you that you could copy, paste, and publish without any major edits. My goal is to help you get 95% of the way there. Speaking of, if you want to write better copy with the help of AI, I have something called AI Copy Club. $9 a month, easy way to learn how to write better copy with the help of AI. I'll drop the link to that below. Now let's get into this. Here's how to train ChatGPT to write like you. First, we have to think about it like we're training a human. If you were hiring a new writer for your business, you wouldn't just be like,
Hey, write like me and hope that they do it, right?
or maybe you would, but you're probably not going to get back the results you want. You need to give examples of your past work, explain your writing, tone of voice, style, formatting, and give feedback when something feels off. Even if that feedback is,
I'm not really sure why I don't like this. It just feels off. It feels weird. It doesn't quite feel like me.
the more specific instructions you can give, the better it's going to perform. First, we want to set up a knowledge base. Now, I actually did a training on how to set up a knowledge base in another video. I'll link that below. But here's the basics. A knowledge base is a collection of the most important information that this chat or a GPT needs to know in order to effectively write like you. So some things you might want to think about is an About Me document. This is information about you, who you are, who the brand is. If you are not the face of the brand, then instead of About Me, it might be About the brand. Next, we want to have a document for your brand voice. This is how we talk. This is what we say. This is what we don't say. Here's things that we talk about. Here's things we don't talk about. Here's how we write things. Here's specific words or phrases we do and don't use. For example, sometimes I say y'all because I'm in Florida. I also sometimes say yous guys because I'm from Illinois originally. Ideally, we also want to give it some copy examples. This is copy that you've written that you're like, this was right on point. I really love this. And we want to find that kind of copy that converts too. So not just I love this, but I love this and it converted. Whether the conversion was getting them to click, getting them to reply, whatever it was. We also want a knowledge-based document that talks about who your audience is in as much detail as possible. And if you're not sure exactly what to put in there, you can ask ChatGPT to write up who your audience is based on what you've talked about with it already. Finally, I want to put some feedback into the knowledge base. This is where I've either reviewed copy that another human has done for me, or I reviewed copy that ChatGPT has done for me. Now, anytime I'm writing copy with ChatGPT, I always tell it, I like this because, I don't like this because. I give it as much feedback as possible. This is one of the reasons it's really easy for ChatGPT to write like me now, and I have very few edits that I need to make. In fact, much of the script was written by ChatGPT, and I had to make very few edits because we've talked so much and I've given so much feedback already. Speaking of feedback, here's how to give good feedback to ChatGPT so that it writes like you. Just like a human writer, ChatGPT needs clear, specific feedback. Here's an example of bad feedback versus good feedback. So bad feedback is something like this. This isn't right. Make it sound more like me. ChatGPT doesn't know why it's not right. And if you're just saying make it sound more like me, it clearly doesn't know what you sound or it would have gotten it right the first time. Now, that being said, if you were like,
I'm not a copywriter. I have no idea why I don't like this. There's just something in my gut that's saying this is not me.
then tell it that too. Bad feedback is still better than no feedback. Vague feedback is still better than no feedback. Here are a few ways you can change that feedback so that it's more specific. This needs to sound more conversational. Use shorter sentences and break up paragraphs. Now, one of my favorite things to do when I'm giving feedback to ChatGPT is I'll have it review itself. I'll say something like this. Based on our previous conversations, tell me what went well in this and tell me where you missed the mark. For some reason, it seems to get it a lot faster when I do this. Now, if you find yourself getting frustrated when you're training ChatGPT, here are some things that you can do. If it sounds too robotic, say rewrite this but in a more conversational style. Review the examples I gave you and make it more like that. If it's using a lot of broad messaging that sounds like everybody else out there, every other offer out there that's similar to yours, you can say something like, this is too vague. I want to be more specific so it's really clear how this will help them, this offer, this article, whatever it is. It shouldn't sound like anything else out there. It should be very specific. A few questions you might have. First of all, do you need to remind it of the knowledge base every time you use it? If you have your memory turned on, which you can do by going to Profile, Settings, and then Personalization, then yes. The memory will save some of that for you, but it might not save all the nuances. So if you find it's not working like you anticipate, you may want to try putting those knowledge base documents again. You may also want to consider creating a GPT specifically for writing copy. With the GPT, you can put in those knowledge base documents and it saves them and automatically will review them every time you use it. You may also be wondering,
What if my writing style changes over time, or what if I have clients that I write for and they're okay with me using ChatGPT, but how do I distinguish between each of those clients if you're writing for all of them under your account?
There's something called projects on the left-hand side. You can create a project for every single one of your clients or create a GPT for every one of them. By doing this, it's easier for ChatGPT to understand the difference in the nuances without getting them muddied or mixed up. Again, my name is Brittany Long. I'm a professional copywriter turned AI trainer. If you like this and need help with your AI copy, the best place on the internet to write better copy with AI is AI Copy Club. For $9 a month, it's an easy way to get started. Click the link that comes with this video to get 1 month free and get started today.